So I had a Facebook post that was really popular, and people suggested that I also make a video talking about things that I discovered in the Japanese version of Splatoon 2, the Splatfest world premiere. So I'll start with, of course, the Inkalpas Plaza. As you see, you have these two giant statues, similar to Splatoon 1, where you have the giant Inari no Kitsune and the giant Promissory Tanuki, some very common figures in Japanese culture. So you have here this turtle, I'm guessing, is a Minogame. We can't see its tail to be absolutely sure, but that is a symbol, obviously, of good luck and so forth, as is the paper crane. In Japanese culture, if you really want something to happen, it is said you have to make 1,000 paper cranes. One of the things that people are talking about the most in Splatoon 2 is the relationship between Pearl and Marina. It's much more evident in the Japanese version than it is in the English version. So let's talk about them. First of all, Pearl's name is Hime, which is shortened from Himeika, which is a type of squid. Hime by itself can mean princess. So you see she has the crown, and she also has kind of a prissy attitude to match. And Marina, her name is Iida, which is shortened from Iidako, a type of octopus. Iida could just mean, that's good. But one thing that is seen throughout their conversations in the Japanese version, not in this particular screenshot, is that Marina addresses Hime, or addresses Pearl, Iida addresses Hime as senpai. So she is either younger than Pearl, or she's maybe new to the music biz, and Pearl's been around longer. And this is why Marina is always demure and shy and seeming to be deferential to Hime, because she's showing respect to her elder. Senpai literally means one who has come before. So it's not necessarily that she is younger physically, but she could be, like I said, new to the music biz. And so she shows respect to Hime by always addressing her as senpai. Another possibility for her shyness is the fact that she is an octoling in an Inkling-dominated society, and that she may automatically feel kind of deferential to the Inklings, given the big war that we know that they had. Here, Pearl, she uses a shortened konnichiwa. It says, "Koncha, Haikara news no jikan da yo." Haikara is the name, as in the first Splatoon, is the name of Inkopolis. Haikara is a word that means fashionable. It's derived from high collar in English. But it also can be construed as high color, which is appropriate for this game with all the colored ink. And the middle two letters are Ika, which is the Japanese word for squid. So you've got multiple meanings there. And then Marina or Iida says, once again brought to you today from a corner of Inkopolis Square by Tentacruz. Tentacruz is the name of Off the Hook. And that could be either the English word tentacles, which would be kind of odd because usually when they import words from Japanese, they don't use a plural form. The one exception would be fruits, but they also use that for singulars because the Japanese language does not have plurals. So this also could be tentacruz, as in a sailing term. So there's probably a pun intended there, or a double meaning. Splatfests, we see here, as in the first game, are announced by a fax machine, which has religious charms and things put on it. This is a Japanese pun, same as in the first game. Pearl here refers to it as kami-sama, but the kami, which means God in Japanese, but the kami part is spelled out instead of using kanji, so it could mean paper. Kami also can mean paper. So there's a pun there because the fax machine obviously comes out with paper. And so here she says that Kami-sama is in motion. You know what that means? And Marina replies, a Splatfest? And then here we actually see a use of senpai when Pearls, or Hime, says, it's here. The Splatfest theme is, what? And then in a rather demure pose, Iida says, don't just look at it yourself, Hime-senpai. Hurry up and tell us, please. And, of course, the Japanese Splatfest was rock versus pop, as opposed to cake versus ice cream, as it was in our versions. This pose was not used in their conversation in our version, but I'm sure we'll see it in future Splatfests or in future conversations. She's just saying, "Because I'm not gonna lose." And here's the equivalent to stay fresh for them for Off the Hook, or I guess the equivalent to our version of "Don't get cooked, stay off the hook." Nuritakuru tentakuru. So here you see they say tentakuru, not tentacruise. So again, are they saying tentacle or are they saying tentakuru? And nuritakuru is a pun. It can be derived both from words meaning to stay moist as well as to paint. And they also extend the ku sound to make kud, which makes the English word cool. So they're telling you to stay moist, to paint, and be cool all in one word. So that's pretty cool. Being moist seems to be a theme. Even in the English version, you may recall some of the characters refer to your newbie character as dry. So it seems to be, rather than staying fresh, staying moist is a new thing. Now, for the other characters, Merch here is called Spiky, which does not make that name very similar to the Japanese Spike version of Spike, because in Japanese, Spike was called Downy. So here he's saying that you're not even really a squid at all. He's like, "Cho, omae sa zenzen ikashite ne no na." They're using a verb here, ikasu, which means to be cool or to be stylish. But of course that starts with ika, and they actually spell out the ika part in katakana to bring out the squidness. So it kind of creates a double meaning, as to be stylish or to be squiddish is kind of one and the same throughout the Splatoon universe, it seems. Here, flow in Japanese is called miura, which can be derived from words meaning ocean, beach, is appropriate. She seems to talk like a batty old woman. She also seems to be maybe a bit of a Kansai dialect. When you enter her shop, instead of the typical irashai, she says irahai. Replacing S sounds with H sounds is a Kansai thing. Yeah, she seems to speak like a batty old woman. It's really kind of funny here. He's like, "Koko no ten wa ikashita ika-chan tachi ni mukete yuru kanji nan yarou ne. Ikashite nai ko ni wa chotto ne." She's saying that this here shop sells things for squids that want to feel stylish, and she refers to you as an ikashite naiko, meaning a kid who is not stylish or not squiddish. So, and chotto ne, that's a very old woman type of thing. It's cute. The name of the shop is Eboshi Eboshi. Eboshi was an old type of headwear used in feudal Japan. This is a hat shop, so that's appropriate. But I'm sure there's a pun here I'm missing about Eboshi Eboshi, what that might mean. I haven't been able to figure that out. Her little shrimp companion here, Ebi, which means shrimp in Japanese, says "gomen nasai," which is an apology. As you recall in English, he says, "I regret everything," in all caps. And here the "gomen nasai" is also in the equivalent of all caps. It's in all katakana. So it's a little bit different than what he says in English. And here the shoe shop is called Do Rock Shoes in Japanese, and the shopkeep here is Shigani. Not sure what the pun is there. I don't know if it's meant to be Shigani, like brother, but I can't find anything that represents crabs. There is a species of fish that starts with Shiga, and of course Shiga is a prefecture in Japan, but I don't think they're particularly known for crab. So I'm not really sure what the pun is there. Now, here's an interesting thing, because in English, Gelfonso, speaks in this weird, horrible, casual old English, a lot of thy and thou and so forth. Here, the name of the shop is Frère Boncoulé. And if you think that sounded French, you're right. It is French. It's French for brother Goodflow or brother well cast, as in casting a fishing lure. The French explains his hat much better than the Old English does, doesn't it? So yeah, his name is Bizin. So yeah, being that he's a fashionista, being that he's French, makes more sense than being Old English, as in our version is kind of weird. I'm not sure why his name is Bizin. Maybe it's a French pun. I can't find anything in Japanese it might mean. And here we have Crusty Sean, or Rob, as he's called in Japanese. Rob being short for lobster, even though he's not really a lobster. He's supposed to be a prawn, but okay. The name of his shop is really cool here. I like this. Rob's Tenpura, with 10 for making 10. Tenpura. I like that. So, Rob's Tempura ni yokoso. So, welcome to Rob's Tempura. I thought that's pretty cool. And in the lead up to the Splatfest, we see here that the stage was built ahead of time, sort of like in the original game where the trucks came up ahead of time. That was kind of neat thing I want to point out. And you also see the inkling writing of Rob's Tempura is much more, like the Rob's Tempura than the English name, which is like, Crusty Sean's Shrimp Shack or something like that. I don't remember exactly the English. I haven't played the English version too much, or once. So the beginning of the Splatfest, this is the opening screen of this when you first log in with the Splatfest. Yeah, minna ikashiteru. Yeah, again using the ikasu verb. So are you stylish? Are you squiddish? Kind of in the same thing. And she's saying once again, live from Incapla Square. It's tentacles. Thought it was funny the jellies change color and dance on squids' heads. They match on teams. Kind of neat. So Marina here, or Iida, is a little bit scatterbrained, it seems. This is the opening screen for Splatfest results. It's like, Iida, the big news, if you please. And Iida's like, what? Oh, what was it again? This is the results announcement screen. Now, which team won the most? The win percentage announcement, solo and team scores, all at once. Let's go! To which Marina or Iida asked, yeah, all at once. Oh, I'm so nervous. And of course, the Japanese Splatfest results. As you see, there's no multiplier involved there. It's just of these three, what the score ends up being. So it's popularity, and solo matches and team matches. So creating teams is a big thing in the new Splatoon 2, it seems. And here, Team Rock beat Team Pop by a score of 2-1. And I did take some pictures while using the English version. I just noted the video game here. It looks like it says Iika Radio 2. Iika Radio was the name of Squid Beats in the original Splatoon, so this is Squid Beats 2. I noted in the back, in one of the back enclaves there, these giant fishing lures. I think they're not necessarily giant fishing lures. I think this is another piece of evidence that shows a theory that I have that inklings are much smaller than humans. The other obvious thing being their size relative to Judd the cat. They're not much bigger than the cat. So I think inklings are actually quite small. And I think these are fishing lures left over from human society that they just happen to have, which is why they seem to be so big. And Gialfonso here. I'm guessing with this that Nintendo just thinks that kids are going to think that this is just a wordplay on piece of cod to create cod piece, and that they're not going to have 8-year-old girls saying, "Daddy, what's a cod piece?" Either that, or they thought they'd throw that in there and it would never get past their censors, but it did. Like the infamous fingerprints gag in Animaniacs. And this really annoys me. It annoyed me in the English version, and it annoys me in the Japanese version too that they're calling this hairstyle. It's not hair, it's tentacles. But, okay, whatever. So yeah, there you go. That's just some stuff that I noted playing the Japanese version. So hope you find it relatively interesting.